Now that we've talked for like 20 minutes about games, let's go ahead and start the podcast.
Hooray! We're so great. Welcome to the inaugural first episode of the Midweek Chatterbox podcast. We are a duo, Eric.
Yeah, and Jessica. Yay.
Yay! Okay, so you had something you wanted to talk about.
Oh, I did. Oh, we're going to start with that? Okay.
I mean, that was what we had the only thing I had brought up, aside from the one thing that I brought up earlier.
Give you a link to it, because...
Or we can talk for 20 more minutes about Pokemon marbles. It's up to you.
I mean, that's going to happen now and in the future. So, I forgot about this game until, like, earlier today, and I was like, I gotta bring this up. Because this is one of my favorite games growing up.
Okay.
And it's Sesame Street on NES, and I don't know if you played it.
No, I didn't.
Really?
My mom got an NES. That was my first console of all time. She got an NES from a garage sale when I was like 4 or 5. And
so, like, people were already selling it.
Yeah. And, like, it came with, like, a stack of, like, 5 or 6 games. It was, like, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Super Mario Brothers, Duck Hunt, all of the staples, and Strider. So I played all of those games up until I was, like, 16, because where I'm from, NES games weren't hot commodity when I was growing up. But anyways, tell me about this Sesame Street.
I hated it.
You hated it?
Yeah, because they, I guess in the beginning, like when they were first started making games, tutorials were not too hot.
Yeah, I get that. So like, trying to figure out how to play these games sucked, but I loved pushing buttons to it until something happened. Mm-hmm.
So like, the one I linked you has like a word wheel, and I guess you try to make words, and I never played that one, but like the Grover one in the bathtub where you switch tiles to like make it a line so he goes.
I think I've seen screenshots. Oh, there's an actual screenshot right here. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I've actually seen screenshots of this, but I've never played it.
So like, that one's easier to figure out, and the other one was not. And they made a few of them too, so like, I couldn't figure out which one to link you, because they actually made a good bit of them.
I mean, this seems like a pretty good representation of what's going on in the game.
Yeah, they all look like that.
Oh, man. Ernie's the best. Look at him up there in that fucking bathtub.
Yeah, and then when you sync them all up, he brings out his little rubber ducky and squeaks it.
Oh, that's great. Ernie's the fucking best. One.
But, like, even, like, levels with this one weren't clear. So, like, you just repeated it. And, like, the next level was kind of the same. And it wasn't until, like, you were 10 levels deep where they'd, like, throw something hard at you. And you're like, ugh.
Oh, that was probably, honestly,
prepared.
That was probably just padding for the plethora of young Jessicas that were playing this game.
But they never, like, I guess, after playing games for so many years, they've, like, game designers have learned how to build you up to certain new abilities and, like, different levels.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the NES was really the
stepping stone, foundation.
The frontier, the Wild Wild West. The quality control wasn't a super duper big thing. I mean, you can look up like the Bible Christian games. Like, there's virtually no quality control on those, to the point where Nintendo went out to sue this Christian company or Christian game company. What? And got all of these Bible games. First of all, they were producing them on non-regulated carts, and second of all,
for the NES?
Yeah, for the NES. They're super funky looking.
What?
But Nintendo, like, sued the crap out of them and got literally all their games pulled out of, like, Walmart, Sears, all of these stores. So they literally, like, pop up, like, Christian bookstores and just to sell these games in.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they're just...
I feel like I don't know this.
What do you mean?
Like, I didn't know someone else made games without Nintendo's knowledge.
Oh, absolutely. There were hundreds of these fucking illegitimate NES games. Like, and you could always tell they were illegitimate because of the carts that they put them in. They were always like funky colors or funky shapes.
Huh.
Look just like this, just about it. They were like Tecmo made some.
Yeah, I see them now, yeah.
Yeah, they're just all super funky looking.
Holy cow. But I had no idea.
Yeah, Nintendo came after them hard.
I bet.
Yeah. There's a reason that most of these places aren't around anymore. But then it started to come back on the Game Boy Advance. Like, the same people that would make some of these NES games were making legitimate Game Boy Advance carts. And Nintendo was publishing and approving those. So it kind of came around full circle for them. But it was literally the Wild West, though, going back to what we were talking about.
This Bible buffet looks familiar.
I don't know why.
Or maybe not.
I mean, it's $109, or $101.99 for play on Nintendo. Family approved.
I had no idea that was a thing.
Yeah, I think this was an illegitimate cartridge, too. because I think this is box art, and there's no like Nintendo seal of approval or quality stamp on it or anything. It just says for play on Nintendo on it. But yeah, there were fuck tons of these.
Now this one says, awesome video game memories. Bible adventures.
I can certainly guarantee that there's not going to be any sort of memory from that for anybody's mind. They're playing Sesame Street. That's where all their memories are. We got sidetracked from your Sesame Street thing.
That's fine.
So
I fucking love that game. Yeah, I didn't know what, like, most of it, I had no idea what to do. Kind of like we had Excite Bike or whatever, but like I hated that game because I didn't know how to play it.
I don't think
I still teach you anything.
I don't think I still understand even today how to play Excite Bike.
I don't, and like I have it on my like my Game Boy or whatever. Yes.
Yeah.
I have it on there, and I played it, and I was like, I still don't get it.
I have it on my
look it up now.
Yeah, I have it on my little like Pocket Go thing.
I just don't.
That I was telling you about, and I have no idea how to play it. I don't know how to play any of that shit.
Me neither. I hate it because my cousin did, and he would never tell me. And like growing up, he got like in the Runescape or something like that, some kind of like online game, and he like showed me that he could change the color of his character's clothing, and I was like, "Whoa, how are you doing that? That's so crazy!" And he was like typing in the code for the color, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
Zero
and he wouldn't tell me. Yeah. He wouldn't tell me any of it. I was like, "It's fucking magic. What are you doing?" God, you're such a jerk.
RuneScape is magic, just in general.
And maybe it wasn't RuneScape, but it was like an online like pixelated game, and he was showing me that he could like change the color on his clothing, and I was like, "Oh, that's so cool."
I mean, there was like 300 million Flash-based online games back then, so it could have been really any one of them. But I guess RuneScape was the one to make it out of that successfully. Enough to have 3 iterations and a mobile port, so... Yeah.
I wish I got in on that, but I didn't.
Yeah, I was never super into it. Like, we had computer labs at school, and we'd go in there, and we'd get on and, like, play RuneScape, like, for the entirety of that class, but, like...
Well, like...
I never went home and wanted to play it.
Right. Well, there's a thing where, like, in my household... My brother had one. My brother's 8 years older than I am. And he had a computer, and, like, he could play computer games. So I was like, that's so cool. I want one. But, like, we were broke, so, like, I couldn't have one. So I played, like, his hand-me-down, like, PlayStation, or, like, any hand-me-down game console that he had. So I was, like, one generation, but, like, I was generations behind.
Oh, dude.
So, like, during, like...
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were the same way. It was like I was telling you, my mom got that NES, like, from a yard sale, like, years and years and years afterwards. Right. And that was our first game console. Then she found a Genesis, which was our second game console. It's just basically a copy-paste story. Like, it just came with, like, 4 or 5 games or whatever, and we just spent 300 million years playing just those 5 or 6 games. And then she would find another console somewhere. That's very sweet. Yeah, she was always just, because we were poor shit, and, like, she knew that we just got tired of going outside and fucking playing in mud and eating dirt and shit, and so it's
very sweet. My grandmother was the one who pushed, like, computers onto, like, Jason and I. Because she was like, this is the future. You need this. This is the way it's going.
How so right she was.
Yeah, I know, right? So, like, she bought, like, Jason his first computer, and, like, it was at her house, and it, like, stayed there. So, like, when we came home from school, he would go do that, and I would, like, go play with, like, the NES or whatever. But she was always like, you gotta do this. You gotta learn it. So it's very sweet. Yeah,
man. My mom's the one that got me into computers. Like, she fucking brought home from some yard sale somewhere. It was like
yard sales are dope.
Yeah, no, yeah. It was some, like, DOS. It was like a gateway or some shit, like, it ran DOS or whatever, so we had to input 300 lines of code to play solitaire. But, like, she caught me one night. I guess I couldn't sleep or something, but she caught me, like, in the living room with, like, a candle lit next to this fucking computer, and I was, like, in the floor with a screwdriver, taking it apart and trying to put it back together again.
No way.
And she is the one that kick-started my entire computer obsession. So it was all thanks to that shitty DOS. Moms. Yeah. So good. Wholesome.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah. Background knowledge.
I always wanted to be more into it, but Jason got, like, all the crap for it, so...
Yeah. I feel like my sister thought the same way about me. Because
and then if I wanted to play it, he's like, no, I'm playing it.
Yeah, I would never let her touch it. I'd never let her touch it, even when I wasn't playing it.
Yep.
Fuck off, don't get your cooties on it.
My mom also let Jason play Magic the Gathering.
Oh, that's cool.
but she wouldn't let me play it because it was of the devil.
Oh, okay, so...
And I was like, what? Jason's playing it. I want to play the game.
He's okay to get possessed by the devil by playing with pieces of paper.
Mom? Yeah, I hated it. I play it now, so suck it, Mom.
That's one like card game I wished I'd gotten into, but I didn't because
it's expensive.
It costs a lot of money, but I'm habitually lazy and I don't want to read books on top of cards, so I just never got into it. So I collected it for just the art because at the time nobody.
It's cool.
Yeah, the art is super great, but nobody at the time other than them really credited the artist on the card. Like,
true, yeah.
So I thought that was the coolest fucking part about it. So I'd like buy a pack here and there and just look at the art, and then
that's what it was with Pokemon cards.
Yeah, good God.
Because like, I guess like where I was from, they were more into the video games than like maybe like a small handful of people, not even a handful, would play the card game.
Mm-hmm.
But I would want to play I wanted to because it was like my mom let me buy that and not the Magic the Gathering cards. So, I never played it, but I had them.
Yeah, I had a shit ton of them, too, and I never, like, I maybe played 2 or 3 games worth, but I never, like, got into it. Like, I always had a buddy of mine look over my shoulder and, like, nod or shake his head if that was a good card to play or whatever. So, I never got into it, but I love the Gen 1 art. That art. I want so many tattoos of Gen 1 art that it would fill up my entire body. Yeah. I love that blotchy, like, you know, like...
They don't look cool.
Yeah, on fucking Charizard's back or whatever, like, when he's turned around, just got, like, blotches of white or whatever, like, inside. Yeah, I'm about to find it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Fat Pikachu.
Ugh, Fat Pikachu is well before his time, but, like, he's doing so good now.
That faded whiteness on the characters.
Yes.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I love that. I had no idea how to explain that, but...
It's very dated.
It is, but I feel like it's dated in a timeless way. Like, you look back on that art style and you're like, that's fucking Pokemon. And I love that. I love that. You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe I'm stupid.
Nah, no, I just remember being like, when Pokemon was just happening, I was like, I gotta get stuff.
I gotta jump on the wagon.
I gotta get on this wagon that's happening.
Oh, man. And when we got on it hard.
Yeah.
I had everything. Like, and it was all from... Like, my grandma used to do this weird-ass shit. And she did it up until basically the day she died. She would go to, like, Burger King. And, you know, they'd give away...
get those toys?
Yeah. So she went
I have a ton of those toys.
Like, she would go and she would buy, like, however many, like... Whopper meals or whatever the fuck that would equivalent to her getting all like the whole collection.
So yeah, so I would like be like Mom would ask me where I want to eat, and I'd be like, I want to go here because they have these Pokemon toys.
Yeah,
and then that was the only time where I asked, like, do you have like X, Y, or Z? Like, do you have this certain Pokemon toy? Like, don't give me that. Like, I already have that one. Don't give me that one. And that'd be the only time, like, a little kid being like, hey, which do you have this one?
Making that poor fucking fast food worker rummage through the piles of boxes in the back looking for one Starmie toy they
only get, like, 2 at a time. So either they had that shipment or they had the next shipment.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. But I like to envision that poor guy, he's just so done and he walks all the way to the back super slow. Yeah, and it's just this warehouse full of boxes and he's got this just really pitiful look on his face, big bags under his eyes, and he just takes a deep breath, sighs, and just pulls out a box cutter and starts going, and he's just like, it's for the kid.
Well, it bit me in the butt now because when I worked at Walmart, I would have to do the same thing, so I get it.
I mean, same. But still, I always feel like fast food, a restaurant in general, like food service in general, is just like...
I am kind of glad that I never had that experience.
Yeah, and like, because they get my majorest of kudos, because I could not fucking do that shit.
They deal with customers, but then they also deal with customers who are hungry.
Like, and those are the 2 worst things on this planet, is customers and hungry customers. Expecting customers. We're here to get X thing. You didn't put this thing in there, so I'm gonna fucking let you have it over this counter, and you're gonna get paid $8 an hour to listen to me fucking scream at you. That sucks. That's awful.
That's awful, yeah.
But yeah, the toys were great, though. Kudos on them for getting all those toys out for these little kids. And she'd go and she'd get the, you've seen them. You've been to my house and saw the goblets I fucking drink out of, the Lord of the Rings goblets.
Oh, yeah.
She went and she got enough fucking Whopper meals or whatever to get the entire set of those as well. We
did that for, the Disney cups.
Yeah, I wish.
And then, Burger King had, glass Batman stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The mugs or whatever. We did it for those.
We've got some of those. They're like Batman Forever, I think.
That survived. Yeah. We have one that has survived, so we have one of those. And I don't want to touch it.
Is it the one where it's got the bat suit with the nipples on it?
I think so.
Oh, God, that's the best.
I remember it's the one with Batman on it.
That's the best bat suit. I don't care what anybody says. All because it's got bat nipples on it. But yeah, no, the detail on those fucking, on those mugs were great. Just like the Lord of the Rings ones, the details on it are fantastic. Cool. It probably cost so much money to make those back then.
Why did they ever do that?
I don't know.
They sold those. That wasn't a gift. That was you had to buy whatever, $5 or $10 to buy them, right?
Well, I mean, yeah, you had to buy the equivalent of the meal, I think, or you had to buy a certain type of meal to be able to qualify to get this for either free or a discounted price.
McDonald's. That was from Burger King.
Are you talking about the Batman?
The mugs.
Yeah. Those were from McDonald's.
Ooh. Oops.
Yeah. I mean, you've got your noise going on, and then Tux just hauled ass up out of the room and smacked her head on the wall.
Well, it's good to introduce it now.
Yeah.
Eric has a cat.
I have a cat. She's 14.5 pounds. And you can...
How old is she?
I don't know. I've never gotten her, actually aged, but we've had her for a little over 4 years, I think.
That's not long.
No, it's not long, but
So when we first met, you had just gotten her?
I think I'd had her for a few months when we first met, because it was right after...
I remember you saying she was super finicky.
Yeah, it was right after I stopped working at that shop, and then they called me.
I didn't know you had the shop.
Yeah, I worked at that vape shop up the street.
I've heard of it, but I didn't know you at that time.
No, that was before I knew anybody.
I had the Riddler mug.
The what mug?
The Riddler was on it.
Yeah. Oh, that was Jim Carrey, right?
Was it?
I think it was.
I think it was too.
Yeah.
I think he's the only reason why I don't mind the Riddler.
Yeah, it was him.
Because I hate the idea of him.
The Riddler or Jim Carrey?
Yeah. No, the Riddler is so stupid. What are you doing? What's your, riddles?
He tells
Get
riddles.
Get out of here. Get out of here. The Joker's here. What are you doing?
He wraps up riddles around the possibility of killing Batman.
No.
Yes.
Why?
Because he can't... The Joker tells jokes.
Whatever.
Riddles aren't funny.
No. Get out of here. I hated it. But I love Jim Carrey, so I like seeing his character, his storyline. Because at the time, I only loved Batman for a certain reason. We don't have to get into it. But watching the Riddler, not knowing the story arc of every character.
Yeah.
And then seeing it in the movie, I was like, oh, okay. Well, maybe.
I feel like no matter who or what character it is, as long as you see a Bill Murray or a Jim Carrey or an Adam Sandler or one of those older comedy legends playing one of
Bill
these.
Bill Murray would have been cool.
Yeah, Bill Murray would have been fucking great. But I mean, it gives that character sort of more of a face, a real face that you can see, you can hear. In a way, you can feel the weight of their words instead of reading them out of the comic book. Every time I was playing the Arkham series, the Riddler would come, I just automatically hear Jim Carrey. I wouldn't hear... Huh. No discredit to the guy who voiced the Riddler in the Arkham games, because he did a great job. But the Riddler is Jim Carrey to me because that's what I associate it with.
I can't look at Jack Nicholson without...
You don't like Jack Nicholson's Joker?
Well, I know I love him, but ever since him, which I was a child, he's just a Joker to me.
Yeah, that's fair.
It was that strong of an imprint.
I mean, if it were anybody else, I don't think it would have been that concrete for the character. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Jack Nicholson's he's always played fucking weird, crazy characters. You know what I mean? Look at the fucking anger management. He basically played himself.
God, basically.
I mean, he's just one of those people, and Jim Carrey's the same way, Cable Man. That movie's fucking nuts, and I feel
I've never seen it.
I feel like that's really what Jim Carrey's like got going on in his head sometimes.
I remember seeing him in movies first before I saw like his like comedian like clips.
Mm-hmm.
And after watching his like comedy, I was like, holy cow, this guy's kind of amazing.
He's raunchy, or he was raunchy.
Yeah. Like, I was like, why haven't I, like... That's probably why I never knew him beforehand.
Yeah.
To be honest. I only saw him in movies.
Well, like, now, like, with Adam Sandler and, like, Jim Carrey and stuff, like, I saw them, like, even Robin Williams, I saw all of those in the movies before I saw them in their stand-up, just like you.
Yeah.
With the one exception of George Carlin, my uncle was letting me listen to George Carlin when I was, like, 7 years old, and it was... raunch. Like, it was the raunchiest of raunch. And then, like, we'd watch movies or whatever, and then George Carlin would be in those movies. He's like, you know who that is? And I was like, yeah, it's George Carlin. What the fuck? I know that voice. That nasty 2-pack-a-day smoker voice. I know that voice.
That's so funny. You and I kind of live similarly? Yep.
Yeah, that one.
Well, we were, like, super poor, super southern. I feel like everything has a variation on it. So, like, the only comedian that I ever listened to was, super famous, Jeff Foxworthy.
Oh, no.
So that was, like, the only one that they let me listen to.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and it was on a cassette tape, and we listened to it in our Ford pickup truck.
Oh, that's the worst thing I've heard all day.
The AC didn't work, and we just listened to Jeff driving in the truck.
Oh, my God.
Going to Home Depot.
At least it wasn't old Larry the Cable Guy.
No, he was a lot later, wasn't he?
No, they were doing it, like, at the same... Well...
No, he was a lot later. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
I refuse. I heard him on the radio the other day.
Larry the Cable Guy or Jeff Foxworthy?
Yeah, because he was in a celebrity golf tournament here in Florida, and I heard him on the radio. Yeah. Apparently he golfs, and I didn't know about it, and I listened to it. So.
Okay. I mean, that's fine. Sure. He's living his best life for what
I mean,
life?
why not?
Let's see. I pulled up old Daniel Lawrence Whitney, Larry the Cable Guy. Known personally for his name, Larry the Cable Guy is an American stand-up comedian, actor, producer, singer, radio personality with career spanning over 30 years.
I remember he got big, and like years later, someone told me that was a character, and I was like, "Shut up."
I went on for the longest time thinking that was that dude, but no, like
I did too.
I heard him actually talk.
I'm kind of glad.
Yeah, I heard him actually talk, and it's like it's night and day. There's really no drawl to it, and it's super kind of disappointing because he's always made himself out to be this disgusting hick, but like truthfully, he's not.
And that's when I realized he was a brilliant man.
I mean, he's made
a character
so much money.
My God, I know.
So much money from just doing that. Telling fart jokes for 30 years.
Yep. Smart guy.
I mean, yeah, he's a businessman. I gotta give him props on it. I don't like him, but I'll give him props.
That's why I hated it.
I mean, it is. All of that shit is stupid. Like,
yeah, but it's so smart because you can just retire whenever you want.
I mean, yeah.
Whatever. Let's talk about a game.
Yeah, this topic sucks. Okay, so I guess we can segue into that thing I wanted to talk about. So we're a little late for the overall news about it, but I want to talk about Warcraft 3 Reforged. So,
sure.
As it standed, it was one of the lowest rated games on Metacritic. It went down from what I previously told you from 1.5 to 0.5.
Oh yeah, I did. Yeah, I watched that. Once you mentioned it, I started looking at it a little bit more.
Yeah, and so people were obviously really pissed off about it because it wasn't the game they were promised.
Wait, hold on. So I never played like the original.
Mm-hmm.
So it's out?
Yeah.
Like the Reforged is out?
Yeah, the Reforged came out
28th. Okay.
Yeah. So it's been out for a little bit, to much of dismay. Like it's running on the same source engine as the original Warcraft 3. With just higher polished graphics, this, that, and the other.
So I don't know much about it. What did people expect from it?
They expected a full high-quality remaster with 4K textures, essentially. And that's not what they got. The graphics were lackluster at best.
I see. It's like a little updated.
Yeah, just tiny amounts. Like, some of the spell effects or, like, the buff effects on the ground are the exact same.
Huh. Well, I mean, what point of nostalgia do you want compared to, like...
Well, I mean...
the quality of, like, today's game.
Well, I mean, I feel like the standard has to be upheld from their point of view because the way that they shot and put that trailer out, it looked like everything was going to be basically looking like an in-game cinematic.
Oh, okay. So people are messed up because they released a trailer that like promised certain things.
Right. And none of those things really came to fruition. I mean, some like the opening cinematic, in my opinion, was I didn't buy it, but I watched people play it. But the opening cinematic I thought was really good, but the worst thing about it, in my opinion, aside from all of the things they didn't promise, was the end cinematic for the entire game, where it showed Arthas fighting Illidan, was laughable. I mean, it was nothing. It was the most lackluster thing I'd ever seen in my life, whereas the originals...
So did you watch videos, or did you play the game?
I played the original game back in the day.
But did you play the Reforged?
No. Luckily, I waited to... The other thing is, like...
Oh, I see. Okay. It doesn't look too bad.
No, it doesn't.
So from my view, from someone who never played the original, to not being brought up with those graphics to like today's graphics, this game, I mean, it's not too bad. Like, it looks like a game someone else would have made, like on Steam or whatever.
Right.
Like another company would have made.
Well, and that goes that goes with saying, like, it looks like somebody else made it, not Blizzard.
True. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Absolutely. It is updated from like those original graphics, but
technically updated. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
One of the grossest things about this entire debacle it broke my heart, kind of, just the reaffirmation that the Blizzard we knew and love is no longer around. They were banning people for talking about getting refunds on their forums.
What?
They were straight up like banning people from the forums for talking about refunds. I will go ahead and say that they have remedied this, and now their automated system is handling and distributing 100% bans. So if anybody out there is unhappy with Warcraft 3 Reforged, you will get a refund as it stands right now. But yeah, no, it was a really unfortunate set of circumstances for this game. I was personally really excited about it. I still have my box copy on my shelf right there. I need to get a CD drive. I
miss box copies.
Oh god, me too.
But also, I don't mind not having to store all of the box copies for like 30 years.
That's part of my appeal. I
really like them.
I get to put it on a nice shelf, and it's on a nice little section.
Well, here's the thing. Growing up, I guess Mom, not hoarded, but she would keep a few things, and then Jason would keep a few things, and I would keep a few things. But like Jason and I kept we all kept the same game box copies. So like eventually, it got to the point where like our basement was just filled with like boxes of video games. And it didn't matter if like the CD sucked or like was scratched and we didn't have the CD anymore. We just had the box and we just kept the boxes.
I don't see anything wrong with that.
It got to be too much with like him and I both keeping the boxes. So like there was, I think maybe 10 years ago, I was like, I'm getting rid of these. I love them, but I'm over them.
It's time
to move on. So I kept the manuals instead.
Well, at least you kept something out of it.
Well, yeah, because they were smaller and they were easier to keep. But still, like I have like a bag full of like old game manuals.
Well, I mean, that's cool, though, because nobody fucking does manuals anymore.
Those are also cool. Well, here's the thing. IndieBox. Yeah, so, like, I made a game. Let me plug that for a second.
Yeah, go ahead. Plug the shit out of it.
It's Home Improvisation. We made it, I don't know, maybe 5 years ago. And
it's on Steam.
It's on Steam. You can buy it. It's also on Humble Bundle.
You can choose where you want some of the proceeds to go in a form of a charity. Be a good person.
Like, absolutely. It's a cool game. I like it a lot. You build flat pack furniture. And you can do it with friends. And you can do it in VR. We took the game to PAX East before we tried to do it on Greenlight on Steam. We were approached by this company called IndieBox. And they make boxes for your game for indie games.
Like physical boxes.
Like physical boxes that you can have. And what they like to do is they like to take the game itself and like try to figure out like extra stuff. So like they might do a figurine. They might do like for ours we were talking about maybe like setting like a little cardboard thing where you can build a table or a chair that's in the game that you can kind of like build and like put it together. That was like a flat pack situation in the game box. I don't know. They like to like do something a little specific to the game.
And they've done quite a few
they have
highbrow indie games like Torchlight 2. Yes. They did a Hat in Time, a Banner Saga,
Stanley Parable.
Like they've done a lot of really good stuff. So I
it's really cool.
This isn't an ad. We're not sponsored in any way by IndieBox. We just really like this company because they do really good work.
How cool is that, though? Like, they go to these indie companies that they're making a game, and they're like, because game boxes are outdated.
They are, and it's really sad, and it's good to know that there's a company out there that still puts value on putting something on a shelf and giving you...
Because there's people, like you and I, that, like, want to keep that stuff.
I mean, you never know what you're going to have in 20 years. And having Lovers in a Dangerous Space-Time physically could be pretty beneficial. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Eric.
What?
God damn it. We're going to play Ultimate Chicken Horse one day.
Yeah, one of these days.
But IndieBox made stuff for Ultimate Chicken Horse.
Yeah, that's right. They did. I'll tell you what. We're going to play it.
That chameleon shirt right now.
I'll tell you what. We're going to play it, and we're going to play it on stream at twitch.tv/Afronomicon.
Okay.
And anybody and everybody who wants to can come and watch us play it together for the first time ever, because she bought this game for me
4 years ago.
4 and some odd years ago, and we still haven't booted it up once. I think I haven't
that
even...
conversation went like this.
Yeah.
Hey, check out this game, Ultimate Chicken Horse. I said, okay, whatever, what is it about? And you showed me the video of someone else playing. I was like, we have to play that game. That looks amazing. I don't know, a couple weeks later after a paycheck, I bought it for you, secret. But you had it set up where I emailed you when you got a gift or whatever.
Yeah, so I was like, what the fuck is this? Why?
What the fuck? And I was like,
and then we never played it.
And then 4 years later, we never played it. So
yeah, so good. Great. Hey, better late than never, though.
I guess so.
But yeah, go buy Home Improvisation.
I have played it, though.
Oh, yeah, so you've actually played it. You've put time into it.
Well, maybe like 4 hours.
That's a lot of time, considering how little time I have to actually play video games.
I met someone on Vermintide 2, and we became friends, and I was like, you have Ultimate Chicken Horse? And he's like, yeah. I was like, all right, well, let's play it. And he's like, okay. And I was like, what? And then we played it, and it was awesome.
It looks so good. Like
it's set up really well too to like play with multiplayer.
I just love how dumb it looks. Like that's not a bad thing. Chameleon? Yeah,
they added a chameleon, and its dance cracks me up.
It's so good, and like the art style is fantastic. It super fits.
It's so nice. I like that. Yeah, I'm gonna get the shirt one day.
No, there's too many things. Like
that's why I made a podcast.
Yeah, too many things. I mean, like too many things in general. Like this year's gonna be kicking the shit out of my wallet and my time. I've been slowly, steadily chugging away at Jedi Fallen Order, and I've only been able to put 7 hours in. And like
what game?
Jedi Fallen Order.
Oh,
yeah, it's really good.
Yeah,
and I want to play it more, really bad, but I have to like devote time to sit down and play something like that. I
think Brandon was playing this one.
I think you have it on your wish list.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So this is a game that I watched Brandon play because he's a diehard for Star Wars, and watching him play it, I was like, this is fucking good. It is a solid game, and I want the game.
I was sold on Jedi Fallen Order before I even bought the game. Like, I went out and purposely found Cal Kestis, the Black Series figure, and bought it before I bought the game because I was just so invested. Well,
okay, so I like Star Wars. I don't mind the games, but the last game that I played was with Starkiller.
Oh, you're talking about,
I don't know the name of the game.
Oh my god, The Force Unleashed.
Yeah.
Force Unleashed is good.
It's so good, but the game that I played, I think it was like the second one? Mm-hmm. Did it come out with 2? Yeah, the second one was like, 5 minutes long?
Yeah, it was...
And I hated it.
Really, really short. I mean...
It was a great game, great mechanics, great story.
The story was really good, but
it hours.
It was basically just like a copy-paste of the first game. Like, as far as, like, linear hallway, kill some stormtroopers. Linear hallway, kill...
It was a good game. I really liked it.
Yeah.
And that was probably, like, the last, like, Star Wars game that I ever bought.
But aside from Fallen Order, the last Star Wars game I bought, unfortunately, was the remake for Battlefront. And
that's not bad.
No, it was bad at launch.
Well, yeah, but like they've have you played it recently?
No, I have not at the time. But
they made a lot of updates.
I have seen. At
release it sucked.
At release it was fucking terrible. Like I got in expecting, and it was foolish of me to not look up a review or any of this other stuff. But I was just so gung ho because the new Star Wars movies were coming out, and I was just on that gravy train. So I bought it, and I was expecting there to be a campaign, and there sure as fuck wasn't a campaign. So I got in and played like 3 or 4 PvP matches, and then uninstalled it. Because there wasn't a way EA wouldn't give me my money back for it.
Oh.
So, yeah.
See, I like... Starkiller's not even canon.
No, none of that shit is canon anymore.
So stupid.
Well, I mean...
I loved him.
I mean, everybody did. Just like everybody I've talked to about The Force Unleashed, like, love Starkiller and love that entire story surrounding Starkiller.
I don't even remember his story. I just remember I loved him. I love that game. And I beat it and I was like, what?
That's it. Yeah.
and I didn't invest in any other game after that.
The last, go ahead.
Okay, watching Brandon play Fallen Order, I was like, I don't know, now I kind of want to play it.
It's good. It
looks great.
The platforming's super nice. The saber combat's good. The skill tree is fucking fantastic. The story, like, I don't know any of these characters from anything else because they're completely new characters, and I'm already invested. I'm invested in Cal Kestis. I love the fucking pilot of the ship. Like, he's just a cynical little butt face. And I love him because I feel like the way he looks inside and out is the way I feel like I look inside and out. And so we bond. Okay. We bond.
What's his name?
Fuck, I don't know. I can't remember. I've only put 7 hours into it. Yeah, he does. He does.
Just play it and enjoy it. I
mean, I'm trying.
Here's the thing. With this podcast, okay, so currently I don't have a job. Mm-hmm. So when I play a video game, I'm like, I'm the shittiest person in the world. So I don't.
You just don't play them?
I just don't play games because I feel really bad because I'll play games when Brandon's off work and he's home.
Right.
And that's it. And I kind of miss just playing games that I want to play because they're fun and they're good. And it's better than dicking around on the internet doing nothing.
Yeah, true.
So with the start of this podcast, I want to make an effort at least playing a game at least once a week, one night, and just picking a game and playing it.
Yeah. And I mean... my backlog is horrendous, and that might actually put some fire under my ass to actually do it. But the sad thing about it is, like, when I get off, I'm working 12, 13-hour days some days, the last thing I want to do is sit down and put emotional and, like, physical thought into playing a video game, and then getting done playing that said video game, and just like, fuck, I could have done something else with my time. You know what I mean? Like,
no, I understand.
It's really shitty because video games are my favorite thing.
I think maybe because we're getting older.
I don't acknowledge that. I don't have a birthday.
No, I forget that you're younger than me. Yeah. Because to me, you're like 4 years or 5 years older than me, and you're not. It's the opposite. And I forget all the time.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine.
I guess for me, like, growing up, I realized, like, I could be doing other things. I love video games. I still want to do them, but also, like, there's other things I want to do.
Well, that's like sitting down and playing video games. That's the end goal for me, but by the time I get to it, I'm just like, fuck.
I told you this before. I can't wait until we're old and senile, and we're just playing video games in an old home.
Oh my god, that's going to be the best fucking shit.
And it's just a LAN party.
You think that we're going to get to the point of being so senile, we're going to forget like Pokemon, we're going to forget like Dark Souls, we're going to forget all these really, really great games, and then we'll get to play them again for the first time?
I mean, one can only dream.
God, I wish I could just fucking wipe Pokemon out of my fucking head so I could play it.
Oh god, if I could wipe Pokemon in Skyrim, I would do it in a heartbeat.
If I could wipe Pokemon,
in a heartbeat.
Dark Souls 1,
oh yeah,
Oblivion, and Doom 2 out of my brain and just go back and play those, I think I could die happier than if I could just re-experience those games again. Oh, and Diablo 2. And Diablo 2.
Oh yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah.
That was a good one. I wish I had a better experience with it because like that was around the time where I didn't have a computer. However, I guess like it was like re-released when they made what's the thing they use now with all the Blizzard stuff?
The Battle.net launcher.
The Battle.net, yeah. So like once that was released, that's probably when I got it. And then like everyone else knew the game. Everyone else knew just the ins and out of like everything about it. So like I would be like, what the fuck am I doing? I'm lost. And they're like, oh, don't worry about it. I'm like, what do you mean don't worry about it? I'm lost. I don't know what we're doing. And then like they unlock the portal and we go to the next map. And I was like, what happened?
Yep. I love so, that whimsy. You know what I mean?
I mean, I would have if I had a better experience of like not being rushed through it.
Yeah.
Like now, I still like it. It's good, but I wish like I had the experience of like first playing that game.
Yeah, I get
that would have been cool.
When I first bought Diablo 2, it was purely on a whim. Like I just started getting into like heavy metal music and like black metal and all these deep, dark, terrible things. And I went
Diablo.
And then Diablo. Like I went to Walmart and I had like some extra spending money from my allowance or whatever. I was chopping wood, get a few dollars so I could go down to the store. And then I was perusing because I just got a hand-me-down compact. It had like some sort of fucking terrible Athlon in it or whatever, some chipset. I don't know what it was, but I just happened to go buy the PC game rack, and the box art for Diablo 2 just caught my fucking eye.
It's cool.
It's this big skeleton man, and it's all black and white, and it jumps out from all the other bullshit on the shelf to let you know it was better than everything else. So
it's flexing on you on the shelf.
It truly was, and I couldn't believe what I was looking at because it was probably the most horrendous looking thing on the shelf, but I couldn't take my eyes off of it. So I did.
I used to bought it?
Yeah, I had a friend of mine that worked at Walmart. His name's Scott, and he was very much into the same shit I was in, but he was older than I was by a good margin. So he just, sorry to call you out, Scott, he just sold that shit to me as I was like super duper underage. And that's what I spent the next like 10 years playing.
You say that, but like, what was that, like 15 years ago? Ish, maybe?
Ish, a little more, yeah, maybe.
Yeah, and back then, I guess, ages, everyone kind of, like, smudged the numbers on that a little bit.
Well, I mean, then. The ESRB was, like, fully intact. Like, Mortal Kombat was the one that got the ESRB, like, stapled in because people were bringing home Mortal Kombat, and then people were getting their spines ripped out and shit, and the moms were going nuts. So
I missed that because Jason did Tekken tournaments.
Yeah.
So when we had Mortal Kombat and whatever, we were already desensitized from Tekken.
Yeah.
Which isn't much, but it's just another fighting game, but still.
We got, and going back to when Mom brought that Genesis home, Mortal Kombat 2 was a part of that. And at that point in time, that was the most violent. Yeah, it was on Genesis.
See, no, this is where, like your knowledge of, like, the game history is a lot better than mine.
No.
Because, like, with me growing up playing games, I don't care. It was what I had is what I had, and that was the games.
Well, like, I was super into it because I had friends that go to school with me, and they'd always bring the Pro Gamer mags or, like, magazines to school and shit, and we'd always look through the new games coming out.
Jason had Nintendo Power.
I didn't grow up in Nintendo Power because nobody around me sold it. So, like, we had to do, like, Pro Gamer and PC Gamer and all that shit.
He also got Linux stuff. Jason was a nerd. And I guess my granny and my mom were both like, I can't teach you this, but also, like, computers are the future, so, like, we're just going to give you all the material that you want and need to, like, flourish. So he got all of those, like, cool magazines, and I looked at them not knowing what they were.
Mm-hmm.
It's not my forte, but I would look at them and be like,
well, I mean, especially like Linux back then. Linux is fucking nuts. Like, it's still nuts. Like, everything about Linux is crazy as shit today. I've got a little, like, shitty HP laptop with Manjaro installed on it, and I have no idea what half of those buttons do.
Well, going to college about animation, they're like, what do you think people work on? I was like, fucking maybe Windows? They're like, no, Linux. Like, you gotta be on top of that. You gotta code all that shit. Like, if something's wrong with rendering and stuff, you gotta be on top of it. And I was like, no.
Well, I mean, it just goes to, like, say, like, Linux has been around forever because it is, like, open source. Like, the community literally builds it up.
I would love to learn some of it.
I tried.
Yeah?
I tried for a good long time, and I love Ubuntu. I love Manjaro. Mint is very good as well, but I have
You're speaking gibberish to me.
They're different distributions of Linux.
Okay.
Each one of them is good for different things. I think Ubuntu is like what everybody starts with. It's the most user-friendly. Like it can update by itself, sort of like what Windows does. Shit like that. Manjaro is a little more advanced, I'd say, but not totally unserviceable by a newcomer. And then everything else is just fucking, you have to put in 16 lines of code to install one program. Like, I'm not lying.
I just, no.
To get Chrome installed on that Manjaro laptop that I have, it took me so many lines to get it right and to get it installed perfectly. But it's terrible. Like, I love it, but it's terrible because I don't have the capacity to remember all that bullshit anymore.
Oh, true.
Yeah. But,
okay.
I don't know how we segued to Linux.
Me neither.
That was a really strange segue, but okay. What were we talking about?
I don't know.
We were talking about,
I don't. Oh, Star Wars.
We were talking about Star Wars and somehow ended up on Linux.
Wait. You said you related to the pilot? Who did you relate to? Was it a robot?
I relate to the pilot, and I was going to look his name up.
Grease Dietrich?
Grease? Is that his name?
Grease Dietrich?
Yeah.
And he kind of looks like he has like a
butt face.
A beard hair face.
Yeah. Yeah, he looks like somebody's...
beard goes into his hair.
Looks like somebody's taken their hands and just squashed him from the top and bottom.
Like almost a frog with ears?
Yeah, almost, but...
Okay.
Yeah.
Whose bark is as loud as his bite is sharp.
Yeah. He's so fucking funny. And, like, if it were any other, like, type of character, I'd think it was cringy, but because it's him, it's so fucking funny. I don't know why. He's just such an asshole to Cal.
You relate to him?
Yeah, because I'm an asshole.
Huh. I would love to see... Oh, okay. Get your wife to pick a video game character that reminds her of you.
Oh, she's just gonna pull up her fucking thing that she made with me in Sims.
And it's gonna be a super loving, caring dude. And you think that you're this guy.
I think I look and sound like that guy. Yeah. But he's cool!
I like his hair.
So that means I'm cool by proxy, right? That's how that works? Sure.
I don't know anything about him, but, like, his picture's neat.
He just flies a ship and he's an asshole to Cal Kestis. That's all you really need to know. And the Sister Inquisitors or whatever they're called, they're super dope.
I'll tell you the one that I like a lot.
Tell me. I'm excited.
Because Star Wars does this thing where, like, each, at least film or movie, has a new robot in it.
Yeah.
Or at least in the later ones.
Yeah,
and
the new ones
they all have these different personalities to them.
Mm-hmm.
And when I saw L337, I fell in love with her.
Oh, yeah. I know what you mean.
Like, I was like, this is mine. Because I thought it was the one before that one where he was very deadpan. Yeah. I was like, oh man, this is my dude. And then I saw L337. I was like, never mind. This is it.
I felt the same way about K2S0 when I first saw Rogue One.
Yeah, like, yeah.
K2S0 he's an asshole, but he doesn't know he's an asshole. As that one line where he was just like, oh, what does he say? We're here to rescue. Don't resist.
Yeah.
I love that shit. And BD1 is really nice.
You're being rescued.
You are being rescued. Don't resist. Yeah. And BD1 from Jedi Fallen Order is fantastic. He's basically just like a little dog.
Mm-hmm. Man. God, that's my robot.
Yeah, no, that's a very good little droid.
I like her voice because it's just a tad bit sarcastic.
Well, it's a lot more distinguishing from any of the other, like, non-actually speaking droids. Yeah. Like, R2 is R2. BD1, like, you can kind of see just by the way he moves and sounds that he's sort of like a lesser intelligent droid.
I was like, oh man, everyone's gonna love this fucking thing. And I kind of hated it because I was like, you're forgetting how... No. I love R2-D2 way more, and I just felt like BB was such a competition for it, and I just didn't want it.
I mean, BB-8's okay. Like, I like its design. I don't like its design. Oh, that's really? The thing. I feel like, as a design standpoint, if the wrong things happened, that droid would be fucked. Because it's literally just a rolling ball. I mean... There's no traction, no nothing for it to grip to. I don't know. It was like when I first saw it, I just thought of all the terrible things that could befall this droid. It's bad design. Yeah. But over the course of 7, 8, and 9, I grew to really love BB-8. Not as much as K2S0, but I really, really love BB-8 now.
Oh, so BB-9 is like the baddie.
Yeah. Yeah.
They added it in just talking about it. God damn it.
Rogue One?
No.
What?
Yes. The MMO.
Oh, are you talking about the Old Republic?
No.
What are you talking about?
Crap. Where you fight against other people.
Battlefront?
Battlefront, yep.
Okay.
They just added BB9 to Battlefront.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Battlefront 2. Yeah, so now 9
so it's in 2. I heard 2 is much better. Like, it got a much better launch from what I understand.
I might be thinking of 2 then.
Yeah.
No, 1 didn't have a good...
I haven't played 2 yet.
I watched Brandon play 2. It looks nice.
Yeah, I heard that there was a campaign, and I was immediately on board, but keep forgetting to buy it.
He was showing me, like, this one map where you played, like, on the ground with everybody, and then you were working towards this goal of, like, battling on the ship above everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And depending on how well you did, you either keep battling, or you get knocked back to the ground, and you have to, like, do something else. But,
right.
Depending how well you did, everybody, though, not, like, you, like, the whole team has to, like...
Oh, so there's like there's like a risk for everybody if you don't do great.
Yes.
Oh.
So like either you can make it up to the ship or not, or everyone does well and you make it to the ship and then it like continues forward from there. And if you fail at any point, you get knocked back to the ground and you have to finish the map on the ground.
That's interesting. I didn't know that was a thing.
Oh yeah. It looked super cool. It made that type of game very interesting to me.
And I haven't actually played, like, a shooter, like, competitive shooter since Unreal Tournament.
Oh.
Like, these newer shooters that are boasting, like, the online... I'm not talking about, like, the Call of Duties or anything like that. The things that are, like...
The Unreal Tournament, like, 1? Is there only 1?
Tournament Edition. Unreal Tournament Edition. No, there's a whole mess of them.
Okay, so I had never played that game until... Like, in my early 20s, I went to a LAN party, we played it, and I was like, this game's fucking awesome.
Dude, Unreal Tournament's one of the funnest, and I mean, I think it still holds up today. I think
we played it for, like, I don't know, 2.5 days straight?
Yeah, that sounds about right. And then you won't touch it again for another 10 years.
Yeah, and I never played that game, and I was like, why isn't it like this? What the fuck?
We had a Computing in the Modern World class in high school, and a buddy of mine brought his Unreal Tournament disc in, and there was a local host folder that, for whatever reason, they didn't encrypt or anything. So he ripped all the files off of the CD,
awesome.
Dumped them into the host folder, and then everybody could get access. So we loaded Unreal Tournament, Halo 1, Call of Duty 2,
what the fuck?
And Quake 2, all on this source folder. And
I'm assuming because of like the county that you were in at the time, was like unaware of that.
He was unaware until about a quarter of the way through the semester, when literally all 19 or 19 or 20 of his computers were booted up playing Unreal Tournament.
A game?
Yeah.
Right.
And it was the craziest shit. It's one of the most fond memories I have from high school, because like it was just all of us in one room screaming at each other while the teacher was losing his fucking mind.
Oh.
And I don't know. That's how I really got into arena shooters. I have not played arena shooters in a long time, but these newer games... they're
intense and they kind of suck.
Well, I mean, like, some of these newer games...
Suck as in, like, because of my player ability, not because of the game.
Oh, okay, I see. Well, like, a lot of those things, like, it seems like they're trying to bring back some of the arena shooter goodness. You know, like, super fast, really satisfying gameplay, without being too flashy. It looks like some things are trying to go back to that. And I think that was the major appeal, other than Unreal Tournament could run on a fucking potato.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah, no. I need to get Battlefront 2, because I want to play that campaign. I heard it was really good.
It's good. It's really good.
It's going to have to take a back seat until I at least finish Fallen Order in the next 3 years.
Alright. I think now is an okay time to stop.
Yeah, that's cool.
I don't know how to end it. Bye. No. Like I said earlier, I'm going to try to at least play a game, maybe a different game every week. I'm definitely going to try to dedicate a night of my week to a game, because I like them, and I deserve to like be okay with playing a game on night.
Yeah, I agree. You need that. But yeah, I need to do the same thing basically. I keep getting wrapped up in these fucking MMOs, and
That's okay. That's still a game.
Yeah, but that's a time sink when I have like 14 million fucking single player games I could be playing with way better stories.
True. In the future, I at least want a few, maybe just one, but maybe a few episodes talking about Pokemon.
Yeah, no,
because that's my thing, and it's your thing, but also Animal Crossing, because you're super pumped about it.
That fucking podcast for March. Like,
we can do it before and during and then after.
It's on a Friday, so it'll be 2 days before Animal Crossing.
Fine, that's fine.
Yeah.
I want to talk about it because you're really big on it, and I like that game a lot. But also, let's talk about it then. I want to make that a topic, and it could be like a whole full episode of it because.
I mean, yeah, because
we're both a little passionate about it. So
Animal Crossing is very, very special to me, and for reasons we'll probably get into on that particular podcast, so we don't burn out all the topics on our inaugural.
We would be here forever. Yeah.
So.
Okay. Excellent. So sometimes there'll be this conversation, and sometimes there will be probably like one dedicated episode about it.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be offended for doing like a dedicated episode a month or something like that. Yeah, like because that'll give enough time for something really interesting to come out. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Or something that we both really give a shit about. But yeah, March is going to suck ass because it's going to be very expensive. But. Well, I mean, Doom Eternal and Animal Crossing coming out the same day.
Oh, yeah. See, I don't care. It's just Animal Crossing.
Yeah, no, I want both. Killing demons and planting trees. That's my ish.
And they're combining on that one day.
Yep. Joining forces. That's the duality of man. Okay, everyone, thanks for listening to the Midweek Chatterbox podcast. I know it was very sporadic and all over the place, but this is my first go, not her first go. So,
but also, this is what I imagined it to be, so like, don't be surprised otherwise.
I mean, I'm fine with this. The way that we wanted to set this up was to be a chat. You know, like we're talking about video games and a few things here in between. It's a conversation. So, and that's what it is. There's no real like super duper hard structure. But that's about it.